You're watching Global Watch on CGTN. Now we turn to the aftermath of the terrorist attack in Indian-controlled Kashmir. Pakistan has rejected Indian allegations of its involvement in a suicide attack. Thursday's attack left more than 40 Indian paramilitary soldiers killed, 44 exactly, after Pulwama rammed a car packed with explosives into a military bus. The Islamist group Army of Muhammad says it's responsible. Kashmir is a Muslim-majority region at the heart of decades of hostility between India and Pakistan. The two neighbors both rule parts of the region while claiming the entire territory as their own. Now, for latest on that, let's talk to our correspondents Ravinder Bauer in New Delhi and Daniel Han in Islamabad. Let's start with you, Daniel. Tell us more about Pakistan's reaction to India's harsh allegations.
Well, Pandang, tensions are once again running high between Pakistan and India because once again there are allegations coming from the Indian side. Just like in previous strikes, even before investigations, India tends to create links of attacks with Pakistan. And experts say that this has become a never-ending cycle of blame games and denials. Pakistan has always reached out to India to engage in talks, but there has been no reciprocal gesture from the other side. If there is solid evidence that non-state actors used Pakistan's soil to target India, then India must provide it, and Pakistan then will conduct investigations on its side. But without such cooperation, experts say it is very unlikely that solution will be found on this issue. Pandang.
Right, and Ravinder, what's India's reaction to the latest incident? How is the Indian government treating this attack?
Well, the very fact that Jaish-e-Mohammed, a Pakistan-based outfit, has taken the responsibility of the attack, the government is saying that Pakistan has to take action against the chief of Jaish-e-Mohammed and also against the organization which is operating from the ground of Pakistan. But on the other hand, there is a lot of pressure on the government to take a military action. But we saw yesterday India took no time to take swift action in terms of launching a diplomatic offensive against Pakistan. The Indian Foreign Secretary met envoys of 25 countries, including P5 countries, including neighboring countries, and apprised them of the role of Islamabad and asked them to strengthen the counter-terror, relationships, because that is the strength that India will gather after this diplomatic offensive that it has launched. And after that, he also met the Pakistani envoy and actually asked and demanded that immediate and verifiable action should be taken against this outfit and the actors of this outfit so that this can be presented to India. But we'll have to wait and watch what happens. But at the moment, we know that India has totally launched a diplomatic offensive, which is very strong. And today also we expect more action in terms of these kind of diplomatic relationships that will have, conversations which will take place. Pandeng.
Well, dear colleagues, we'll be getting back to you for more on this. But now let's talk to Mr. Wang Peng from the Chongyang Institute of Renmin University think tank. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Wang. So earlier, our correspondent Ravinder Bauer just said that India has launched a diplomatic offensive in the aftermath of this terrorist attack. How serious is this a blow to India-Pakistan relations? Are you expecting a military scenario?
Well, now the international society are worried about the escalation. As you mentioned, now it's the diplomatic struggle, offense-defense between the two countries. And now we're worried that maybe they can be deteriorated into another case, that's the border conflicts or the military struggle. This will be more serious and do harm to the people of both countries. So now, what is the most critically important and urgent for Pakistan and India both? That's to control and manage this conflict, try to solve this one on the level of diplomacy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wang. We'll be getting back to you. But now let's take a look at this. In December, Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan told an interviewer that issues between Pakistan and India should be solved through dialogue. He says two nuclear-armed countries should not think of war and promises peace.
Pakistan is not going to fight anyone's war. Our foreign policy will be what is good for people of Pakistan. And we think that rather than what was the previous mantra of doing more, we were always expected to do more. Now Pakistan is going to be an ally in peace.
Now, let's talk to Mr. Wang again. We just heard words from Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan. He wants peace, he wants better economic situation for his country, and he promised a better livelihood in his manifesto for Pakistani people. But now, looking at the reality, how difficult is it for him to fulfill his promises?
Well, peace is valuable, but also fragile. War cannot solve the problems. We have witnessed too many crises, conflicts, and even major war between Pakistan and India during the past half century. But what finally resulted? Still the hatred remained. So now for this one, I think maybe a suggestion proposed by international society is good for them. That's to make a joint team, to make a joint investigation. Firstly, before struggle, before even quarrel debate, maybe they need to clarify what really happened and what's the result, what's the cause, and make the things itself clear, and then try to make the final solution jointly by both sides. This is more productive and good for the people of both countries.
Right, and talking about people of both countries, we just talked about Pakistani people. Now let's talk about feeling of the Indian people at Ravinda. The timing of this terrorist attack is very delicate, right ahead of elections in India. What's the political implication here?
Well, tempers are running high, and we know that people are wanting a retaliatory action by the government. We saw that yesterday when the mortal remains of the soldiers were brought to Delhi. We saw a lot of emotion, and today again we'll witness more of it when the last rites are performed. But we have seen, but the government has actually called for a all political party meeting today, in which the Home Minister will be briefing the political parties about the security situation on the ground and also about the steps the government plans to take. So this has been something which is a silver lining, because as you just said, in an election time, any political party would like to use this opportunity to politicize it, but we saw a refrain by all the major political opposition parties who offered full support to the government, and that is something which we have not seen. But yes, the people are still angry, as the Prime Minister in his hard-hitting speech said, the blood is boiling. Let's listen into some people what they want.
Kashmir was, is, and will be ours till the doomsday. Long live India. Down, down with terrorism. Wake up, Pakistan.
When the government is letting our brave sons die, then just give Kashmir to them. If not, then dare to teach Pakistan a lesson in its own language.
Not a surgical strike, but the need is to remove Pakistan from the map.
Wow, those are very cool. Strong words indeed.
So
and
revenge is what the people want, but we'll have to see. It won't be so easy for the government to do anything forward.
Exactly, and those are very strong words indeed. Talking about that, Mr. Wan, earlier you worried about a military scenario between India and Pakistan. Now looking at the boiling public opinion in India, do you think the whole momentum has left Modi's government few choices?
Hello, yes. So the political implication of this event in this hot season, we know that in India, that's campaign season. So I think that's twofold. One, for the candidate, that we may say in brief that the pigeons may die and hawk, they survive and rise. That's to say, the candidate who can pretend to be more harsh, tougher, and more strong militarily, they may have more opportunity to win the hearts of the voters. However, on the other side, there's another consensus that's for the national interest. I mean, for Indian national interest, it's not good to escalate this event. It's not good for them to make it as a very, very big event and to intrigue the extreme nationalism. But on the other side, what is good for them is to control the conflict, to try to get a joint resolution with the Pakistan to solve this problem together. That's the best situation and best way for them. So now it's a dilemma in front of all the candidates. They must show their attitude. They must make decision for their own campaign or for their national interest. That is a question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wang Peng from Chung Institute at Renmin University of China in Beijing.